Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. I want to first off thank everybody for your time. Thank you for your subscriptions, for your views, for your comments. It means so much to me, especially on days that are rough. Yesterday, this back injury is freaking killing me. But hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully, insurance companies. But also check your subscriptions. I woke up today to 3,000 less subscribers than I had when I went to bed at 1 this morning. So just double check those just in case you have been unsubscribed unknowingly and unwillingly. Let's go to New Mexico. I've had a couple of videos about New Mexico up. In fact, Sheriff Tony Mace was on the channel and we were talking about the red flag bill, and I don't know if you've been following it, but I've been posting things from New Mexico as it's been going forward, both here on the channel and on my social media. Well, yesterday the bills were on the governor's desk. Her name is Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, and she signed it. She was very, very giddy, happy. She was begging for this basically, and she had a message for the sheriffs who have come out saying that it's unconstitutional and they will not enforce it. Now, her message everybody should listen to across the country, because even though this is New Mexico, this is the message that the anti-gunners are sending, no matter what the name of the state is. This is happening in many states right now. It is on deck in many states, and if it isn't on one of those two yet, it's coming to you, trust me. Now, before I get into her asinine comment she made, I want to remind everybody that law enforcement in the United States is based on, of course, law, the rule of law, but officers have a thing called discretion. What does that mean? It means that, like, if you get stopped for, say, speeding, you don't have to get a ticket every time, right? I'm sure people have gotten warnings. Just like every time somebody does something wrong, they're not all booked and thrown in prison. There's things called discretion throughout the criminal justice system. Whether you like it or not, that's the way it is. But this governor is threatening the sheriffs if they use discretion. What she said is this, that sheriffs should have the opportunity to oppose and recommend policy changes, but they cannot not enforce the law. Well, actually they can, Governor. A, discretion, like I just discussed, and B, just because your pompous friends sign something into law that your friends in the legislature push through at your request doesn't mean it's constitutional. And if any type of law enforcement official, whether it's a sheriff, a deputy, an officer, a police officer, whatever, they're only supposed to enforce constitutional stuff. Just because you and your friends like it and force it down the throats of your citizens doesn't mean it's constitutional. And these sheriffs are well within their right. It gets better though. She said, quote, if they really intend to do that, meaning not enforce this, they should resign as a law enforcement officer and leader in that community. Direct shot across the bow at these sheriffs who've come out very publicly saying that this is wrong, it is unjust, there's no due process, and it's uncalled for. Now, like I said, Sheriff Tony Mace, who is the president of the New Mexico Sheriff's Association, he has said that the new law goes too far. You heard it here on this channel. In fact, he'll be on again soon. But what he said is absolutely golden. All right, you ready? Grab your popcorn. This is going to be good. Sheriff Mace said, quote, "We don't work for the governor. We don't work for the legislature. We work for the people that elected us into office." Absolutely right, Sheriff. Bravo. I know you get it. We've talked on a couple occasions, and that is what these elitists need to hear. Now, the New Mexico version of the red flag is just like every others. They're all, for the most part, the same. The only things that really change is the length of the order before it can be made or extended for a year or longer, or made permanent in some states. That's it. I mean, everything else is the same. It's an unconstitutional gun confiscation order based off the whim of somebody else. If somebody is a snowflake and is scared, they can have your guns taken away because mommy told them they would be safe. Now, you're not afforded due process at all, especially in the emergency side, where somebody says, hey, this person said this, or this person posted this, and they have access to these. Well, the judge can say, you know what, go take his stuff right now. You're not allowed to talk to that judge to help explain your stance or defend yourself or say that that other person is lying. Nope, they just sign it and do it. They seize your property unconstitutionally, and in many states, it gets really ugly after that. Now, one interesting thing that was going on in this process in New Mexico leading up to yesterday where the governor signed it into law was that the governor's office and the legislature wanted the district attorneys to be part of the law enforcement definition in this bill. And the district attorneys didn't want to be in it, you can see, because now that the sheriffs, if they hold their ground and they don't enforce it, well, then who do you think the governor's going to look to? Oh yeah, the DAs, they work for me, do it. And of course, this could cost them money, could cost them their job, you know, because a lot of people are only concerned about their paycheck, not that thing they call the Constitution that really holds them back. And to prove this, that it was all a charade anyway, Moms Demand Action got up and spoke and said this, and this is very telling. Their chapter leader, their state chapter leader in New Mexico, her name is Emily DeAngelis, and she said that her group is emphasizing that the district attorneys can seek red flag orders from judges in areas where sheriffs may show reluctance. So this advocacy group is advocating on taking people's rights without due process, and this is who your governor listens to. This is who your legislature listens to. Some clown chapter president for Michael Bloomberg's Moms Demand Action. Michael Bloomberg from New York City. They're listening to him over you, the people of New Mexico. Now, going back to the governor, she said this. This state is responding, referring to New Mexico. We're looking at the opportunity to do as much as we can for threats that could create mass violence. So yesterday, the red flag law became law. The bill became law. It was signed in by your governor, who doesn't care about you and only cares about Michael Bloomberg and the dollar bills, y'all. So please be warned. If you are not in New Mexico, please share this with your friends, share this with your groups, your posts, your whatever, wherever you post stuff or read stuff or watch stuff, please forward this, because the people of New Mexico need to know what's really going on. This is where you're going to find this type of information and hear from the people on the ground in those states actually fighting the fight. And don't forget, if you're watching this tonight we have Phil Van Cleve from the Virginia Citizens Defense League, who will be on live tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern to talk about what's still going on in Virginia. The fight is far from over. Just because the assault weapon ban was tabled doesn't mean that that state is not still under an assault. So please, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is where you're going to find this stuff. And please like the videos and forward them, and it will help this channel greatly. I appreciate you all way more than you know. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Take care, everybody. See you tonight.